I'd like to welcome each and every one here tonight, and Brother Matt Butler, the youth minister at First Baptist Church Covenant, will lead us in prayer tonight. And during this time, we want to remember Miss Bonnie Vincent, Mr. Vincent's wife. She's having a setback, and she's back, had to be readmitted to Germantown Methodist Hospital since she had her surgery the other week or two ago. We need to keep her in our prayers.
Before I pray, I just want to read one verse for y'all in James 1:5. He says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and will be given to him. Just a reminder for all of us to seek our good Lord out for wisdom. He gives it to us if we ask him. And I think that's for every aspect of our life, not just spiritually, but in our normal daily lives as well, that he can give us that wisdom to make decisions. So let's pray. God, I thank you so much for who you are. Lord, I thank you for how you watch over us and how you protect us, God. I thank you for these men and women in this room and how they lead our school district, how they lead our county, and reaching these young people, Lord, raising them up in the way that they should go, God. I pray just for wisdom for them and just guidance and all that they set out to do, Lord. And I pray that they would keep you first and foremost in their lives, God, and let you help them make decisions that they have to make, these tough decisions and hard decisions. I know especially here in Covington have been made here lately, God. Just continue to use them in great ways for this county and for these children and these teachers, God. I do just lift up especially Miss Bonnie, that you would just be with her and all the circumstances surrounding her, God. I just pray for the doctors and nurses who are working on her, that they would have clarity and wisdom on how to treat her, Lord. And I know each one of us have people in our lives who are struggling, who are sick in the hospital, who are in need of you, Lord. So I pray that you would just be with each one of those situations, God. Lord, I pray for this meeting that you would just give clarity and wisdom in all the discussions and all that we pointed to you. It's in your son's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Motion by Mr. Davidson, second by Ms. Eubanks. Those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passed. Are there any additions? Seeing none, we'll move on. Would anyone like to remove any item from the consent agenda for discussion? If not, do we have a motion? Motion by Mr. McCann, second by Mr. Kirk. Those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passed. Dr. Combs, superintendent update.
Yes, sir. I talked to Mr. Marty earlier, but I had this wonderful lady in the community who said, Dr. Combs, when you present, I'd love to be able to see your face. Your back's always to me. So I thought, I'm gonna do it from right here, because that's what they used to do. This time, that's okay with y'all, and I'll look at the camera every once in a while. And so she can see my face. I don't know if she trusts me unless she's looking at my face, so we're gonna do that. But anyway, I just have a couple things. One of them is I want to encourage you, if you do attend the conference, remember that all those vendors are set up. You know, there's those vendor times down there in the little bottom hallway. And especially with what we're doing with the new builds and a lot of that kind of stuff. And, you know, we have that 5-year capital projects plan, which we're going to continue working on, especially once we get some FEMA money back in. Visit some of those. They have some good things like bleachers, prices on stuff, food. They have a lot of, it's just really interesting stuff. So I would encourage you to visit them when you go. I mean, because you'll get to see a lot of different pieces there, and you'll see some familiar faces as well. You know, we'll see like Service Master and some of those folks that have worked with us. They'll be down there. So just, you know, stop by and shake their hand, especially folks like Service Master that have done a lot for us, you know, and say hi to them. They're probably going to have a Tipton County Schools logo back there somewhere anyway with all the money we spent with them. So, but anyway, I just encourage you to do that. Secondly, as y'all had in your in your folders, so Covington High sent this letter. Mark sent this on behalf of the Coach Joe King family, and I'm going to read it for everyone who's listening virtually, and then ask y'all for a vote. I mean, you know, before we name anything or dedicate anything, policy says it goes before the board, and y'all have to vote to make that happen. So here's the letter from Mr. McLean. Covington High School is requesting approval to dedicate our new track to Coach Joe King. The track will be named after our beloved coach, and a banner with Joe King track will be displayed in the north end zone. We will also have a memorial plaque in honor of Coach King posted as you enter the track from the main field entrance. We feel this would honor his 55 years of teaching and inspire future students to accomplish great things. Coach King was first hired at Covington High in 1977 and retired in 2011. He had such a positive impact on our community, and that's the reason we want to honor him. And I'm not going to read this whole second page, but there was one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and that was this sentence. He served under 9 different principals. He started off with John Underwood in 1977, Richard Hensley, Dornitha Taylor, Steve Zerhelen, Harvey Witherington, Harvey Witherington, that one right there should give him an award right there, I'm just saying. Harvey Witherington, John Jones, Henry Glass, Dr. Tom Barton, and then finished up with Miss Peggy Murdoch. So 9 principals he served under. And I remember fondly, during the summers, I worked for maintenance for 5 summers when I was teaching, and Joe King was right there. We were unloading paper trucks and weed eating and painting, and
He was assistant principal at one of them, wasn't he?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. He sure was. But anyway, have very good memories of Dr. King or Joe King and his family. So anyway, I would put it before y'all to vote for them to be able to dedicate that track in his honor, Chairman.
Do we have a motion to approve it? Motion by Mr. Jenkins, second by Ms. Eubanks. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed.
Awesome. Thank you.
I just have to say something real quick.
Yes,
on
go
that.
ahead.
So Friday night at the game, they did a presentation.
Mhm.
It was so nice. Everybody in the stands stood up. I mean, it was just really special to see all his family down there. So
That's
I think
awesome.
this is great.
That's awesome. I think his family, correct me if I'm wrong, Doctor, his family on awards night, they give like a Joe King scholarship, like a couple of them, actually. His family presents that too, so they're still very much invested in the community, which is pretty neat, really. But thank y'all. I will share that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Combs.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harley Bennett, maintenance supervisor.
Since I didn't get any requests to set face, so I was out there. I will come up and brief you guys on what we've had in the last little bit. So the LED project for the spring sports that has been much of a challenge to bring to completion. We were successfully able to complete what we had under contract. For Mumford High School's baseball, Brighton High School baseball and softball, and Covington's baseball, LED lighting projects are now complete. So those questions as far as will we have our spring lights in, you should be able to say they're active. So we walked the fields this week. They look nice. We had the coaches out. They've all seen them. So hopefully you'll get some good feedback from all of those. We are waiting to hear from the insurance company on some of the damages from that were not tornado related, but they were storm related on the Brighton High School field before we execute that claim. So I'm hoping to have something here in the next week to allow us to know the direction of the Brighton High School baseball field and the Mumford High School baseball field. The outfield fence, both of those had damage. So I'm hoping to get some good information on that this coming week, at least on the extent that insurance is going to assist with that. So that has been much of a struggle for ourselves, to be able to answer to the community as far as where are they? Well, things got, if you guys remember, it just got caught up between a vendor and an installer and some litigation. So we're successful with that. Covington High School's softball field, I was asked the status of that one. It is currently in the situation caught up with the insurance and the FEMA and all this tornado stuff. So they're planning currently to play at the Copar Park, where we had that field ready for them this past year. So they're gonna play there this coming year. So I just wanted to put that out there that their field is not expected to be ready for the coming season. The Mumford High School has decided, now if you guys recall back when they wanted to go the direction of building a new complex, they're back on the track of wanting to renovate. I do believe it's a great decision, being able to maximize the dollars. We'll be able to get a finished product versus teeing something up for many, who knows the input of what that complex would cost, because it didn't have all the utilities necessary to put a field together. So they reached out to us and let us know that they did want to take that direction. We've met with the architect just to discuss some suggestions before we make the next moves. So that one will be coming, you will see progress taken, there at Mumford softball field soon. Now, tornado schools, we're almost complete. 100% on the middle school, 95% on the elementary school. Spoke with the contractor today, and he is 95% complete, and he says that he will hit the, completion date, but who do I give credit to for the video? Is this
Phil
Phil
Ramsey.
Ramsey? So Phil Ramsey went out and flew the drone for us so we could,
And that's this morning.
take the bird's eye view of what's been going on. So if you haven't driven by, it's been pretty impressive to, to check this one out and
Just
See
so
what-
small.
operators really know how to be efficient, if you will. So they, in the feedback from the community and the appreciation of just, obviously sad to see something leave, but the assurance that things are gonna be better than they were, has definitely been clear from the community.
And obviously what you see, Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong, but where the parking lot area, that's still parking lot. I mean,
That's correct.
that's not, they're just, like, this is basically what's left, is the
That's your
concrete.
elementary school, right?
And that's about it. What's their deadline?
The 15th.
15th.
A few days away. But whenever I spoke to, the gentleman today, Mr. Moorhead, he said we plan to hit our target. So I have no reason to doubt him, and they really performed up until this point for sure.
They've had good weather too.
They have. We've been very blessed as far as that. That's, anybody that's in the farming and the construction world knows that weather is definitely something you can't predict, and you hope for the best. But whenever you do stick your neck out on the line for this kind of deadline that this company was being expected to hit with the, the financial repercussions outside of that, it's pretty impressive to take that on. So I wanted to let you know something that Dr. Combs, myself, and Jamie that works in the office with me, this tornado's brought on a lot of challenges, and with that, it's consumed a lot of our time, which is, has pulled us to focus to the noise, to the concerns of the temporary structures, well as working through FEMA and insurance and all of that. So how do we really just pull my department in? And how do we get everybody on target for what we had envisioned pre-tornado? With capital improvement projects, with new expectations of how we wanted our schools to look. And and I'm like, Doc, I'm struggling on how to really change the culture. I've got a lot of gentlemen who've been around here for a long time, and we're really wanting to see things that maybe they haven't been held accountable for in the past, as far as just details. So we brainstormed on what we would do, and we said, why don't let's just all come together once a week. So we're going to, and we've implemented it. So we've had two, what we're going to refer to as either a manic Monday, a turn up Tuesday, a wide open Wednesday. We hope to not make it to Thursday, and if we get to Friday, I'll let you figure what we're going. I don't know what it'll be. So it's going to be, but our goal is to bring our department together and go to one campus, 20 plus men, and really focus on facelifts. All of our concern right now is going to be on the outside, trimming leaves, painting bollards, painting signs, edging, just decluttering things that over time just become, just out of sight, out of mind, or you just overlook it. And so we started out at ALC, where we moved, where we got the middle school housed, and so we are part of them. And it was received very well outside the community. I've heard from people that go to the sportsplex on a regular, their appreciations for just giving it a facelift that it deserves. We went to Drummond's this week. Shelley Goff and her crew at Drummond's Elementary, much appreciated. This coming week, we're going to Drummond's Elementary. Our goal is to go to each area, Bright Elementary. We're going to each area so we can spread the love, if you will. And so the principals have been asked to, come up with if there's something that they see, they want us to make sure that we hit. Let us know. We're coming with a skid steer, a mini X, 2 dump trailers, trucks, chainsaws, pole saws, edgers, but the works to really hopefully make a big impact where it can spill over and the kids can hopefully understand, cleanliness, where hopefully that'll have a ripple effect into our community. to where they'll see that, things can be nice and that we don't have to live in clutter. So I just want to let you know how we are hoping to have a larger impact on just HVAC, plumbing, trouble calls, as far as the maintenance department, and to give back to some areas that maybe haven't seen quite the attention that, maybe they thought they should have seen during this past, few months, while we've really been put behind the 8 ball and juggling, just challenges, if you will. So, I hope that as we continue with the Manic Mondays, that you guys hear positive feedback of the appreciation. You're gonna see things that haven't been paid attention to in the past that we're hopefully gonna get up to speed. So, and if you see something, if you go around one of your schools and you see something, just take a picture and send it and say, hey, can you guys hit this up on a Manic Monday? Let us know. We'll be glad to, put that on our list. So, any questions for us? Yes, sir.
You said, you were talking to Shelley, did she explain to you what the little garden thing out center out by the road for Drummond's Elementary?
Has she explained?
Or talked about what their, path is, I don't.
Can I hand that one to you as
Yeah.
far as the
Well-
expectations?
Yes, I mean, I can do that one. So we checked with her to see exactly what she wanted us to do with that garden. Initial thoughts were, and like I've told the principals, told them yesterday in the meeting, the maintenance folks are not landscapers. We're not gonna do mulch and plant flowers, and that's not their job. So, if the schools want that done, they can do it, and they can hire somebody to keep up with it, right? And that garden that's there, obviously had a lot of community involvement, master gardeners I know worked on it some. So I asked Shelley, do you want us to take that out? Principal Goff, excuse me, do you want us to take that out? Well, what do you want us to do with it? Because basically it's, if you don't keep up with it, it's ugly. So she said, well, let me get with master gardeners, some more folks in the community, give us a little more, give us another chance to kind of, have someone there to keep it up. And then we'll get back with you so we're gonna circle back. We're giving her an opportunity to engage the community, see if they wanna put something together to keep it up. And then we'll come back later if need be and take it out.
From what I can tell you, from what I've been told, they already have community groups lining up
Awesome.
to take turns. She's gonna get, emails and stuff, and then everybody get on a schedule.
Yes,
Kind of schedule up, say, hey, this Saturday we're gonna be here,
I think that'd be great.
From what I understand, if I'm not wrong, had been mistaken, got wrong, because they've already got several community groups in Drummond already signed up to.
That's great. And we cleaned up the exterior of it when we were there, cut a few trees down that were on the outside that were just difficult to mow around. We got those out. But just walking in it, really, I think that's one of the first times I've really walked through that garden, believe it or not. And it's pretty nice, in there, but it has to be kept up or it will be overgrown and a monstrosity in no time. It just has to be kept up. And I'm glad they have people lined up because it'd be great to be able to keep it, for sure.
What I'm hearing, that's what that.
Awesome. That's awesome. Sounds good.
Where do we stand on that? I was out Friday at Mumford High and that ditch over there by the concession stand. I know you guys will probably get to it when you're available.
Are you speaking on the one on the corner?
Yeah, I guess the
Back
east
there
side.
by the visitors?
The
Yeah,
hole, like the
the
big
Big
hole,
hole.
basically.
Is it still falling in or?
I have not actually taken action on that one.
Yeah,
I do
and
know,
that's fine.
I do know that that's something that's, Coach Kelly's reached out,
Yeah.
Dr. Fee has reached out.
As long as they've reached out, that's right.
Yeah, and we reached
And
out
I've-
to the city of
I've
Montford.
spoken to the mayor
Yeah.
and he agreed that we are going to work on that.
Real
We know what
proud.
happened way back in the past. We just don't wanna have that.
That is correct.
And I do know that is a corner, that is the city of Montford's property, and their
Right.
expectation, that is the case. However, I don't wanna sit here and be like, we're not helping. If a
Right.
couple loads of riprap and some skid steers and some mini X's, which we own, can expedite that, at least to get it to a place to where our campus is safe.
Right.
I do have to obviously just remind people at times that we are an identity that has property to take care of and that we are responsible for, so it's not like, no, that's yours, we're not helping.
Right.
But at the same time, I do have to say that someone's not gonna come help us, in times of need. Tornadoes proving a lot of that,
Yeah.
but, that someone might need to step up and take care of that if they're.
And that's why we reached out, that's why I spoke with Mayor Cole, because we wanna make sure, because that is their property, there's there's some
Yeah.
liability there too, so,
Sure.
but we're on the same page. We're gonna work on taking care of it.
Cool, thanks for all you do, Howard.
I appreciate you guys. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Bell.
y'all, I appreciate it.
Dr. Byrd? Director of Instruction report.
Thank you. I'll start tonight, as always, with our Teacher of the Month. And this month, we have Miss Taryn Anderson, who is a teacher at Charter Academy. Miss Taryn will come on up. I'm gonna read what her principal said about Miss Anderson in her nomination. Taryn Anderson's leadership skills are evident in how she establishes professional relationships with faculty, staff, and stakeholders. Also, as a lifelong learner, she embraces professional development opportunities to refine her teaching practices and leadership skills. This commitment to growth is a wonderful asset to our leadership team. In her dedication to improve instruction, Ms. Anderson currently serves as SPED grade chair, K2 building mentor, and our professional development coordinator. She serves as our social media website coordinator and mentor tutor during school-age childcare as well. We are busy. Taryn's thoroughness, confidence, and strong instructional content knowledge are a few reasons why she's a great educator, and that's from her principal, who is here tonight, Ms. Christy Ross. So thank you, Ms. Christy, and thank you, Ms. Anderson, and congratulations.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. It is an honor and a privilege to work for Miss Christie at Charter Academy and for the Tipton County Board of Education. Thank you.
Congratulations.
We really appreciate what Ms. Anderson does every day. You heard what all she does, you're very welcome. Another important thing that happened that you may have realized yesterday, Brighton Elementary School was selected 2 years ago, actually, but the event was just held yesterday, by NASA downlink program to participate in a Q&A session with astronauts who are currently on the International Space Station. Y'all, it was the coolest, one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The Q&A happened yesterday morning about 10:45. We actually were in principal's meeting and we stopped what we were doing and tuned in and watched. And these are the two astronauts. Well, they're flight engineers, but these were the two folks that we didn't speak, but the kids spoke to and asked their questions, and they were answering. It was very, very neat. And we did learn one of the interesting things that I had no idea, that in order to communicate with Brighton Elementary, the astronauts had to be directly above the school, so they were like 250 miles up, but right over Brighton Elementary at the time, so it was a very calculated event, and that's what the principal told us, so I'm assuming she's correct. But in your online folder, there's a link to the video if you'd like to watch it. It was maybe 25 minutes, something like that.
I watched it, it was great.
It
It is
was really
the
cool.
neatest thing. So the kids would ask a question, the astronauts were answering them back. So get a chance to view that, but we're very proud of Brighton Elementary, and that's something that those kids will probably always remember. And then the last thing I have this month, oh, and I forgot to show you one more picture, sorry. These were some of the pictures that they sent, a group of the kids and some other happenings about the school.
It was really cool. At the very end, like, they just floated out of view of the camera. Like, they just put their microphone down and just floated away from the, it was pretty neat. It was
very
really neat.
neat. You have to watch the video if you hadn't had a chance to look at it yet. This month, we'll review any policies in the first half of section 4 that this instructional services, are there any policies that anyone would like to ask a question about or have us discuss? Okay. Next month, we'll look at the second half of section 4, and if you do see something that you'd like for me to prepare in advance, if you'll just let me know, I will have that ready. Mr. Chair, that's all I have unless somebody has a
Okay.
question.
Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Byrd.
Thank you.
Mr. Billy Daugherty, financial report.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Mr. Beasley are gonna tag team this report again this evening. So inside your folder, you will find a request from Mumford Elementary. Dr. Cope and her staff are requesting to renew their postage meter machine from Pitney Bowes. They're wrapping up a 5-year contract you all approved back in 2019. Their payment was $165.93 per quarter. And the new proposed contract, if you all agree to allow Dr. Combs to enter into that 5-year, 60-month lease, is $174 per quarter, about a $9 increase since we signed 5 years ago. Mr. Chairman, request that Dr. Combs be authorized to execute that contract.
Do we have a motion? Motion by Mr. Jenkins, second by Mr. Kirk. Any questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed.
And also in your folder, you'll find the trustees' report and the revenue and expenditures for the month of October. And then we're gonna move to the 142 budget amendments.
All right, so we didn't have many, we only had about 4. We had a little bit of adjustments made in the ARP Homeless 2.0 grant and the ESSER 3.0 grant. Those are both in the entitlement funding applications. And we had 2 in the competitive funding applications, 1 in the 21st Century Remaining Funds, and then we did get additional money in the HQIM Literacy Network grant. We got about $42,500 extra in that grant. And then that's it.
You see that reflected in the Excel documents that are included at the back of your packet. The only renew revenues for 42,500, everything else is intra-fund transfer. Mr. Chairman, if we get a motion to approve those amendments as presented.
Do we have a motion to approve these, requests? Motion by Mr. Farrell and a second by Ms. Eubank. Are there any questions? Those in favor?
Thank you.
Motion passed.
Now, I think that's it. I believe, Mr. Faber, you have something to present?
Yes, sir.
Regarding the letter of intent?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
If you see in your folder, we have a letter of intent. For the same reason I'm always here, to buy buses from Cumberland International. It's 78 passenger conventional buses. These will actually be purchased out of next year's budget. We want to get the letter of intent now, so we go ahead and order them. That way they'll be here by July 1.
Where's that letter? Is it in the finance folder, or where's that? Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
This is,
I didn't see it.
any copies? Sorry, y'all, just sticking out, I guess. That was probably my fault, I was supposed to make a copy.
Is it in the February folder that's in our November folder?
Yeah, something, probably. Hey, let me say, sir.
Hey, I'll tell you something funny. I was
I think
in
he's
travel, through the church mission. I was in Belize. We're driving down the road and we were going pretty fast, but we passed a bus that had Tipton County schools on it.
In Belize?
In the country of Belize. No joke.
Well, we never know where we're gonna turn.
I mean,
We're all about taking care of our kids wherever they're at.
I guess they bought it. I don't know.
Did it have our little advertisement
I bet it
call
come
if
from
you
Baskin.
can drive?
I
Did it
bet
have
you didn't
that?
know.
You're not being responsible.
I'm saying, holy cow.
That's right.
You never
That's
get to where you
how
feel
hard
trick
we're
for
looking
going.
for bus drivers, right?
I know, right? You might be living there now.
Hey, while we're waiting on those copies, I'm gonna, Billy and Rebecca, if I can say this, so remember, this is our last year to spend out ESSER funds. Okay, so that was when we got the ESSER funding in, right? We basically had 4 years. This is the last year to spend those funds out, okay? So, we had a number of positions that we brought in, the learning loss coordinators, some of those positions, but they knew whenever we posted it, whenever we did the interviewing, they knew that these would go through this year and then those would end. So we will have, some absorbing them back into as we have teacher openings, we will absorb them back in, obviously, because they're still tenured teachers. We're gonna absorb them in. But just remember, we're spending out that ESSER funding this year. Did I say that correctly, Billy?
Sunset's June 30, 2024.
Okay, to spend those funds. Thank you.
So now, these are the same buses essentially we just purchased last year. We had 5 of these exact buses. That's the first time that we've ever actually purchased a 78 passenger conventional, and they've worked out extremely well. And they're, about $20,000 less expensive than the Transit.
So basically, to make sure that I understand, we're not requesting money this evening. What we're doing is we need the intent in this letter to
Correct.
order it because we're like a year out.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. We're gonna
Okay.
spend this money out of our next year's budget, next calendar year's budget.
Okay.
So you're gonna be ordering July, is that right? July?
Well, my intent is to get them ordered,
once the board approves, if the board approves it, I'll order them this week, and they won't come in until July.
Okay.
They're that far behind. I have to order them, this much time ahead in order to get them that soon.
But to be clear, there's no purchase order issue, no
Correct.
encumbrances or obligations of funds in fiscal year 23-24. No official order. This is a letter of intent to purchase them because no purchase order can issue until July 1st of 2024.
Correct. We won't pull the PO until, the next budget year.
We've heard the request, do we have a motion? Motion by Mr. Jenkins, second by Ms. Eubanks. Are there any questions about it? Those in favor? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Hey, we get them buses on the way, right?
Gotta
Yes.
have them.
Mr. Bill, does that complete your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. TSBA convention leadership starts Thursday, winds up Sunday morning. Dr. Combs, would you like to add anything?
Are we gonna talk about the bonus?
So what now?
The bonus.
Certainly, I'm ready if you all are. I didn't know if you wanted to pursue that. I've got it ready.
Well, it came in our packet, I didn't know.
Yes, sir. It was in your packet. I uploaded a copy there.
Okay.
For the last request, there was a request for there was a request for the 500, 350, 100, I believe, that's in the packet. The other thing, before I forget it, if you allow me, excuse me, Mr. Banks, is there was a phone conference today with, Mr. Hatcher, maintenance had a Zoom call with him. He had some good information to share about, he feels like we've moved to the next part of the queue where we're gonna move towards getting funding. And so, I wasn't a part of that call, but Ms. Stafford called me and filled me in on what Mr. Hatcher had to say. And it sounded good. And she was excited about it, so made me excited too.
Y'all know who Mr. Hatcher? Mr. Hatcher's our FEMA rep, our
We feel
FEMA.
like we're gonna be getting it sooner than we thought, maybe?
He says it's
Well,
moving,
I
that
know
he's
we talked
progressing,
about it.
and I love our government, but the check's not in the mail yet,
Right.
Yeah,
so.
it may take a while. I'll see
That's
you
right.
later, so. Go over the bonus with us, Mr. Darby, that we had in our packet,
Yes, sir.
if you don't, mind.
Yes, sir. So as you know, it has been several, discussions on the bonus itself. So all those comparisons that we've talked about in here are kind of in a row there. The bottom one in green, I highlighted green so you know that's the newest one. And that is the, projected estimated cost to do the breakdown that was requested, last meeting. To bring this 500, 300, 300, 100. And so to remind you all, the request was to project bonuses, $500 for certified personnel who are in the classroom the entire day. $300 for certified personnel who are not in the classroom all day. $300 for non-certified personnel, period, and $100 for part-time. Now, obviously, this is a rough estimate because different faculty do different things at different schools. So you may have a librarian in one school that doesn't see students, but you may have one somewhere else that does. I'm not sure how that's gonna fall out, so I just had to do the best I could with the projections on that. Because giving bonuses to employees, that don't meet with students all day. I mean, there's so many dynamics. Counselors, for example, was brought up in one of the meetings. Counselors don't meet with students all day in a classroom, but they meet with students or they're working on student stuff. So I don't know how we're gonna delineate that, how you all are gonna delineate that. But that is the projected cost for that particular assessment or estimate.
But ultimately, those people in those roles are still servicing however many kids are in that entire school.
That's correct. So, you've got a counselor, 4 counselors in the high school serving 1,100 kids. And of course, it breaks down, I guess, throughout the middle school and elementary school, it's less, but it's still a lot of kids. And so, essentially, these are the figures, and, I've done several cash flow forecasts, and I know a decision has to be rendered at some point. And it's difficult to tell at this point. I believe these are projections, right? I believe that we're gonna have about, this estimate is about $12.5 million at the end of the fiscal year, without the FEMA reimbursement. The only thing that concerns me is we still don't know what, all the property tax revenue is gonna be. December and February are the B-12 shot to our budget. That's when all the property tax money comes in, December, February. And then we won't get a TISA payment in May, our final will be in June, but I feel like we're okay, it's just the unknown of where we're gonna be.
And how much is hanging out there? What are we waiting on?
That's right.
I mean, how much is that we're waiting?
So, well, you know, you figure it's about a $6 million project, and they're gonna give us about 65%, the estimates are, I think is right, 65% up front, and then the final cost when the project's finished. So, you know, you're looking over $3 million, which would make me comfortable. The other rest of it's monthly payments, you know, for the lease. So,
But it could easily go, I mean, we have no real clue of when it's gonna fund, is it?
no, sir. I mean, the county, has had experience, with FEMA payments, and they've gotten them as soon as 2 years. They've gotten them as long out as 4 years, I believe. So, that's my understanding.
So it's almost like we need to prepare for not.
That's my position, is to be conservative, to prepare if it doesn't come. Just because, you know, they have no obligation to give it to us at this point, is when they get ready to give it to us, so,
Should we revisit this after the first of the year, see where we're at, if money's, I don't know, like, we don't know when it's coming in.
And it's
And I
obvious that
think
we wanna do something.
for us to be smart on this, would we have to wait until we know we have money?
so the estimate would be that we would get down to about $12 million, maybe, it may be 14 million at the end of the year if there's no FEMA money comes in. What we got to consider though is will be no TISA payment in May. We're gonna make about a $17 million payroll in June. And then in July, we'll wait another month with no TISA money because the payments don't start until August, so we'll bankroll all operations in July. Those are the only factors, I guess, that are really concerning me, and what are we gonna do in the months where there's no. And then what if something else happens? Of course, John, we can what if it to death, but, you know, it's one of those things where when you're doing projections, you know, I always want to err on the side of being conservative until we know for sure. If we give the money and we get to the end of the year and we're in a deficit, you know, I'm not everybody's favorite. If we get to the end of the year and there was a surplus of money we could have given bonus, I'm not gonna be everybody's favorite. But there's just no way to, tell at this point. Other than, you know, do you make it? I don't know. The other thing that concerns me, of course, we'll know more. I feel like we'll be comfortable too in the, April, the last BEP payment in April, we'll see what our cash balance is, I think. And then maybe some moves could be made. The other thing, if you add a bonus on top of a $17 million payroll, we're gonna be looking at some similar situations, but we would at least know more at that point what the cash, is gonna be.
I think it's wise to wait myself. We don't really need a motion, we're just consensual, everybody's consensual about that. I mean, it's just a discussion, we're not taking any official action at all, but I believe it would be best to wait until after we find out a little more about our FEMA money and insurance money and.
Just being responsible.
Yeah,
That's
being
right.
responsible, right.
And the other thing that you all know, you've got the capital projects plan that you all have, the 5-year plan. You heard the presentation about the buses. There's a lot of decisions this board's gotta make in the next few months, once we know where this funding is gonna land, and, I just think it'd be better to do it.
I've got an inquiry.
Yes, sir.
Just thinking about, you know, we certainly want to bless people that are worth it. It seems like, I'm listening to you say, it's gonna be really weird to try to get everybody figured out. Could it not just be that we come up with some fair number and say everybody gets the same thing? Just
That
to
was
say,
Dr. Combs' recommendation. Dr. Combs' recommendation is the one that you see there that said, $750, $250. If you're a full-time employee, you get $750 whether you're in the cafeteria or you're the principal. And then the other one's part-time employees, and,
That is my exact thoughts too, because I mean, I know that there are assistants out there that are in the classroom, they're doing car riders, they're doing all the things. The cafeteria workers are there in that building all day long, every day too. So it's across the board. And, so I feel like it's a good move for everyone, and then change it for the part-time people. You know, but I know that we'll have to vote on that later when the time comes.
Is there any more discussion about this? Any questions? Mr. Darby, we appreciate you tonight. Thank you for the information.
yes, thank y'all.
Does, anyone else have anything? Dr. Tony, need to add anything?
No, sir. I mean, I will say that I feel better about our interactions with FEMA the last month and a half than I have in the previous 2 months. So I feel pretty good that we're gonna be getting a good amount, and I will go ahead and throw this out there. You know, initial one of the looks, you know, FEMA like a 75% reimbursement. And that with that last 25%, TEMA would do about 12.5% of that. And then the last 12.5% would basically be on us, right? Well, I wrote the governor last week, and Senator Rose and Mayor Hensley also signed the letter that I sent to the governor requesting that the state cover our 12.5% as well, because they just need to. I mean, it was an emergency situation. We dealt with all this stuff. We're digging in fund balance to get the things that we need to do. And I requested, I mean, the worst he can say is no, and then we're still, paying that 12.5%. So, like I said, I feel pretty good about, I haven't gotten a response yet. That was just last week. Matter of fact, Senator Rose hand delivered it to his office and I emailed it. So, like I said, I think he's a reasonable man, and I think he will, like I said, the worst he can say is no, and so we can sure ask. But that's right. But I do feel pretty good about where we're going. I mean, Billy's job is to think of the worst case scenario, right? That's why I have him in that position. He's supposed to do that. But the board does need to consider, like Ben and like y'all have said, we need to give these people a bonus. And I do think that it needs to be an even bonus. I mean, it's a bonus, it's not a raise. A raise is different. You can do a raise on certification and what your position is and all that kind of stuff and how many years experience you have. But a bonus is a bonus. A bonus says, this is how much we appreciate you working for Tipton County Schools. And it doesn't matter what your position it is, we appreciate you being here. And I challenge anybody to run this school system without all the classified people that we have. So I think that should be an even number. And we've never given part-time a bonus before. And so $250 for a part-time bonus, I think is nice. So anyway, whenever y'all do decide to consider that, I do think it's important that everybody is equally bonused so that they feel appropriately loved by the board.
Yeah.
I think everybody on this board would love to give them as much as we possibly could. And without being able to do that, then we've never had this issue before. We've been able to give bonuses every year without a bad of an eye.
Right.
So of course, we're in a new world this year.
Absolutely.
What's happening, so.
Yep. I got it.
Hopefully money will come in and we can get that out to them soon.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. All right, if nobody else has anything, do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Kirk, second by Mr. Farrell.